Hello everyone, I'm Sebastian from Firetotem games, and I'm going to talk about how we scale down our levels in our game to, in the end, scale up the process of creating these levels. And yeah, for those of you who don't know the game that I'm working on, it's a webbing journey. I think most of you have seen it on social media already, or in the PGDA channel, on Reddit, whatever. This is how our game looked like a year ago. You play as a spider. It was located on the outside on the various islands. And it was cool, it looked cool, it was interesting, but we had several problems with this level design, or with these levels. So first of all, it was difficult to communicate the level design per se, because it's a natural environment, which is not like, yeah, it's hard to measure it. It's like, how is the shape of the level? How are the model proportions? Because the spider is able to interact with everything. So the models have to be properly placed and be located in the level. There was lots of flat ground, which is like a problem for a spider, because it loves to have vertical areas, especially in the second screenshot down there. It was like people were running on the floor, which is like not the point of being a spider. With a lot of boring fetch quests, rather boring gameplay loop with a very unoriginal story. And yeah, also the web building was the core mechanic in our game, which people are not using a lot with the old levels. And therefore, the potential of the game is unused, or of the game mechanics. And yeah, we realized that, I think, end of last year, we started realizing this. And then, beginning of this year in February, we started working on a pitch deck for publishers. And basically, there were some questions like, where are we now with the game? What is the timeline? And when will the game ever be finished? And we came to a realization that over the last year, from that point, the game did not really evolve a lot in regards to being finished at some point. And it was like a little panic moment of, will the game ever be finished? What are we doing? And yeah, we got a little bit into the panic mode and started to brainstorm new ideas for the level, or for the game, to finally bring it closer to a release point. And we had like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 brainstorming sessions. We came up with new level ideas, so new islands for the spider. We came up with all kinds of crazy ideas for new abilities for the spider webs. We came up with a friendship system to make the NPCs more interesting in the game, and then overall have a more cohesive story. And what we ended up with was, the game just became more complex. And we are a small team, like most of us here, and complexity is killing your game, is not bringing it to a release point. So we were like, okay, that's not the direction we want to go. Let's make a complete restart. Let's go back and ignore the island idea of the spider, because the point of having islands was just for the spider to be, to have a barrier for the spider to not escape. And water is the easiest option for any game dev. And we defined some requirements, like the levels have to be smaller, they have to be more compact, there has to be more interactions in the near environment or near enclosure of the spider, especially physics interactions, because that's what makes our game fun. And at this point, all level ideas are allowed. So we said it can be islands, but it can also be completely other stuff. Whatever we came up with is allowed. And somebody in the team came up with the kitchen level idea of putting the spider inside the kitchen and furthermore inside the whole house. And we thought about all the requirements, and it really ticked all of the boxes, and it gave us really, really funny interactions. And also, it gave us a clear direction for the game. So before that, we were just running in various directions with the islands, trying out different stuff. But with the new levels, we have now an easier level design, because if you need a chair, there are hundreds of references out there. If you need proportions for the microwave, for a table, for a lamp, just grab your tape measure and measure it. There is way more verticality because it's a closed room. Therefore, it has a roof on top where you can swing around. it gave us more variety in quests. We don't have to explain the player everything that he can do in a kitchen, because everybody knows that they can interact with a microwave and oven, and they just try it as a spider. And the web usage is improved a lot. The gameplay loop got more interesting. And we always had this topic with our wonky physics that I try to minimize as much as possible, but players actually like it. So we fully encourage that at the moment. And the full potential of our game is finally used. And yeah, it also improved our level design pipeline. So it got more streamlined. It's easier to find references for rooms in a house on the internet. The 3D modeling is better defined because we have the measurements of the models. And we also got a clear time estimation for each level. Before that, it was like very random. Like when the level will be finished, I don't know. And now we can say like, yeah, it takes around 2 months to make a new level with all the quests and other objects. And yeah, so this also shows that the new levels are quite what the people want, because we are posting daily on social media. So as some of you might know, we went viral last year, and we did it basically again this year. In the last 4 months, we have 60 million views on all our social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Reddit, and Twitter. And yeah, we basically doubled or tripled most of our numbers on those platforms. And our wish list graph is at the bottom. So that's basically from last year, Game Dev Days, until today. And we had like since July, mid of July, we had like this constant growth, which is like absolutely crazy. And we are sitting at 46,000 wish lists at the moment. Thanks. Yeah, and that's also the end of my presentation. So if you want to stay in contact, just write me an email. You can follow us on social media and play the demo of our game on Steam and mobile.
Yep.